I can no longer remain in today's Democratic Party that's under the complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers who are driven by cowardly wokeness, who divide us by racializing every issue and stoking anti-white racism, who actively work to undermine our God-given freedoms that are enshrined in our Constitution, who are hostile to people of faith and spirituality, who demonize the police but protect criminals at the expense of law-abiding Americans, who believe in open borders, who weaponize the national security state to go after their political opponents, and above all, who are dragging us ever closer to nuclear war. Now, I believe in a government that's of the people, by the people, and for the people. Unfortunately, today's Democratic Party does not. Instead, it stands for a government that is of, by, and for the powerful elite. Now, I'm calling on my fellow common sense, independent-minded Democrats to join me in leaving the Democratic Party. If you can no longer stomach the direction that the so-called woke Democratic Party ideologues are taking our country, then I invite you to join me.
Hashtag good riddance is now trending on the Twitter, with many people asking her, when was she an actual leftist? And this reminds me of a time when many Christians would become atheists, and other Christians would accuse them of, well, you were never a Christian to begin with. But in reality, Tulsi Gabbard is a leftist. Her economic policies in some cases are quite far to the left. It's just that she's a non-identity politics type of leftist, which is why she can't find common ground with the other members of the party. I would definitely categorize Tulsi Gabbard to be not a 90s Democrat, but definitely even a 2010 Democrat. So it's just that she didn't change her views on social issues, on identity politics, which is why many people accuse her of not being a leftist. Now, I find it interesting when she talks about cowardly woke politics, because this is something that I've noticed quite a lot, usually appearing when leftists refuse to have debates with right-wingers. So the most famous one that comes to mind is with Alexandria Occasional-Cortex, which didn't want to debate other right-wing pundits, saying that, oh, well, asking her for a debate is like catcalling and other ridiculous nonsense that can only work in a very woke culture. Another thing which seems to have enraged a lot of people in the comment section is when she pointed out the anti-white racism. And a lot of people in the comment section said, oh no, this is what happens when you get equality. For people who had privilege, who are treated like members of nobility, like princes and princesses, the moment you are actually forced to have equality, you view it as oppression. And to this, I have to point them out to the recent statement by Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States, which said something bewildering to the point where many people here in Eastern Europe thought that this is misinformation. She said that the relief effort after the hurricane is going to be prioritized to people of color and marginalized groups. What's interesting is that there was some backpedaling happening afterwards, and they said, no, the relief effort is going to be prioritized on people who need it most. But that is one example of systemic racism. I mean, yeah, in a hurricane effort, like, you don't ask the person from behind the rubble, like, hey, can you please tell me your ethnicity? Can you please tell me the color of your skin so we can know if we should prioritize you or not? No, you're going to go to the people that require the most immediate help. So you go to the people beneath the rubble, you go to the people that had their houses completely destroyed before you go to the person that had the window broken. Like, if you do it any other way, and you bring the Nazis through the time machine so they can test the genetics of the people owning property in Florida, and you're like, okay, well, you have a broken window, but you're from a marginalized group, so you take priority over the guy that had his entire house taken by the hurricane, right? Like, it's complete madness. It's insanity. Like, we just do not operate societies that way, at least not functioning societies. And then you also had another law in California. I mean, even the fact that California they wanted to repeal the act which guaranteed that laws can't discriminate based on race is very telling. But then you also had just the recent legislation that comes to mind where the government wanted to give money to homeless people that were from marginalized communities, sexual minorities, and women. Right? Like they usually phrase it in a way so that it sounds progressive, but you kind of get where they're at. And I'm like, well, if you're going to give money to homeless people, why do you discriminate? Just give money to the poor. Like, why is it so hard? Why do you have to constantly bring the Nazis through the time machine so that they bring their scientific experts on race so that you can figure out how you're going to give the cash, right? Because when you tax people, you tax everybody, right? Like, you don't get to tax some people, you tax everyone. So when you redistribute the wealth, all of a sudden you need to look into the genetics and the heritage and the DNA, and you bring the super AIs to crack down the... I mean, you know, it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. So I definitely understand why she doesn't appreciate these types of politics. But again, she is a leftist. Like, Tulsi Gabbard is definitely a left-wing person. I would personally not vote for her because I disagree with her economic politics. I don't think it would enrich people. But at the same time, if it's between her and an identity politics left-leaning person, then yeah, I would vote for her. So there are people far worse than her, it's my point of view, but there are also people which are more better. With that out of the way, at least you can have a conversation with her, right? Like, I don't think that she ever refused to debate people on any issue. I don't think she ever tried to cancel someone or to deplatform someone. I don't think she ever used her identity in order to suggest that just because she is born in a certain way, she has more powerful opinions on issues than other people. So, yeah, I mean, she is the type of person that I can see a conversation happening with, that you could actually discuss. And if more left-leaning people were like her, I don't think there would be a culture war. There would be just disagreements and over how the economy should run, but it would definitely be a much more safer and better place. Still, it will be interesting to see what she's going to do next. I don't think that she can get the Republicans to vote for her, although who knows. I do think that she is going to be invited on a lot of right-wing shows. Of course, I mean, she already has been invited to Fox News, and maybe a lot of other people who have podcasts and who write newspapers are going to have her on, because she does have quite a big following, which she can use to endorse certain politicians. So I think that's what's going to happen with her. I would be surprised if she actually joins the Republican Party and then wins. I mean, that would be surprising for me, and it wouldn't be something that would make me very happy, because unless she changes her economic positions, like her economic policies are very, very left-wing. That's my main point of concern. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you in the comment section. Take care.